All right, everybody, and welcome back to the JEMS podcast. We're previewing FDIC 2026. I'm proud to have Dr. Kevin Seaman on with me today to talk about his offering, him and his team. So I'll kick it over to you, Dr. Seaman. Let's hear all about you.
Hey, great, Mike. Thanks so much. I'll try and keep it kind of brief. But so I'm up from upstate New York initially, went to school in DC at Georgetown, joined the Navy, saw the world, moved around kind of things, and then got out of the Navy and came back to the Baltimore region and been here for 35 years. And right now I'm the medical director for the Maryland Resuscitation Academy, as well as the medical director for Charles County Department of Emergency Services, and I work for the Charles County Department of Health as well. So kind of all those things go in. And what I would say is we're really excited to be coming out to FDIC. We've got some great topics and I think great learning as well. And I think into that goes all of the things we've learned over the past 20 some years in terms of putting this important content on. And basically, there are some mantras from the RA I might use. Like, for example, when I was with the Navy in San Diego, we had a total quality management kind of a perspective and gather data, whatever. So we got data on the bases in San Diego versus San Diego City and found that there were no survivors on the 9 military bases in San Diego. So that got me, okay, then can you train 250 firefighters and 200 EMTs, CPR and AED? We did that, and then we had like 3 survivors within like 4 months. So I think it does really work, I think, is the first thing. So that's really good to know. In Maryland, we've been doing, we started with adult high performance CPR. We went out to Seattle and learned. We came back. The crew that implemented it, some of which are still instructors for us, like Assistant Chief Dave Sabat, they had a cardiac arrest in this kind of week. It was the 20th or 21st of December. The patriarch of a family had a cardiac arrest under the Christmas tree. And I think that deals with our EMS culture because our culture at that time was load and go. And you can only imagine that in the Christmas season, under the Christmas tree with the family watching, everybody in the crew wanted to load and go with that patient. But our medical duty officer said, we're going to work them right here, move them out, we're going to work them right here. They worked them there. They got a pulse back. They got him to the hospital. They took him to the cath lab. They opened his artery, and he was home by Christmas Eve with his family. And I think when you have those kind of experiences, what happens is it changes your culture because then people say, "What are you doing? How did you do that? Can we do it?" Kind of a thing. So we've learned with adult high performance CPR, it's stay and play kind of a thing, and we're teaching the metrics of a high performance CPR for individuals. But then, I would ask you in the audience, how often do you practice CPR with the team that you're with, on your shift in the field? Because TMS is a team sport. And what we look at is what it takes is letter perfect CPR, which is the right rate, the right compression depth, full recoil, things like that. And if you're doing it as a team, then you have to practice as a team. I mean, if any of us played sports, that's what it's about, is practicing with your team to be perfect, not just individually. So that's part of what we teach with adult high performance CPR. And we learned you've got to find a way to get your culture to buy in. And I think the way to buy in, again, this is another thing we've learned, is that everybody joins to save lives, right? And I think that basically, we're good people. We want to help. But then if you go to enough asystolic cardiac arrests, you say, well, am I really making a difference? And sometimes you lose a little bit of that motivation, I think. And so we flipped that to say, if you encounter them in VF, if it's a witness arrest or they're in VFib rhythm, we should get them all back. Let's work on getting all of those people back. And I think that helps our culture say, okay, then let's give it our all and that kind of thing. So we teach this to classes, and we do it in a way that's try to give them the important things, have them practice it, have them get it right, have them practice individually, then as a team, and put it together. And we're using high fidelity education. So we've got high fidelity mannequins that will show what is their CPR fraction, how did they do basically. And I think that's one of the things that really helps, is to have that data feedback, because when they come in, they do CPR before they start. And we find that you say, "How are you doing?" They say, "Oh, we're the beasts of the East. We're the best of the West. We're from Middle America, and we're the best." And then you say, well, you show them the screen, and their CPR fractions like 62%. They don't say anything, but they think to themselves, maybe I can learn something here. And I think that's what they learn, is you put it all together, you practice it, and then you perform it. And then we've got the data from after that shows, guess what? Their CPR fraction has gone up to 90% working as a team, because they put all these skills together. And I think that's the magic of this. Just like Disneyland, there's some magic. The magic of this is that realization that I didn't really know this, and that really what we're talking about is shaving seconds off. So if, when the person on the monitor pushed the button to charge and everybody scattered to another room, don't do that anymore. The person that's coming in to do compressions hovers their hands. The person on the monitor taps their hand when the shock is delivered. They go back to compression. So they shave a couple seconds off there. They shave a couple seconds off other places, and I think that's what it takes to get the most lives saved. So we taught that for uh geez, 8 so like 17, 18 years basically for the RA. And I think we've had so many people come back to us and say, thank you for teaching us that. We've got our people bought in, and we're saving more lives. And I think that really is, I think, so important for our EMS clinicians who have a tough job. And I think if we can show them that, yes, you're doing things that make a difference, I think it really does help them. So that's kind of the adult high performance CPR. The pediatric high performance CPR is the next thing we're working on. And if we had load and go with adults, we have even more load and go with peds. And I understand the concept that nobody wants to make a mistake that they think might harm a child. But it turns out with peds, it's the same thing. And that is that the skills that you bring to this patient on the scene are the best chance of getting them back. And so if you load and go, um, you've sort of deprived them of those interventions that can make a difference. And so I think what we're doing with the peds, we're doing some really innovative things, like immersing them right into education, surprising them, um, giving them that feedback. And basically what we're working on with the peds, aside from the innovations that we have, our pediatric team in Maryland developed this hiccup technique where you do the 30 compressions, and on the 29th compression, as they let up, they ventilate once, or 28th compression, they ventilate once, or 29th, and then on the 30th, they let up and ventilate one more time, then they go back to compression. So they don't pause for 5 seconds for the interval there. They intersperse the 2 ventilations and get back to compression. So it's more continuous compression, which is a better CPR fraction for peds. So I think we're trying to get transition to a checklist and an algorithm for them to say, accomplish these things on scene. Once you've got that, and hopefully ROSC, in stabilization, then transport the patient. And I think that's a better outcome for pediatrics. So I think both of those things are critically important. I think this is, I think, cutting edge education as well, because we're doing things with low dose, high frequency type of education. And that's what we need more of for these conditions that we know we face in EMS, which is low frequency, high acuity conditions. Cardiac arrest is probably the most important one. We have 600 seconds to save a life. That's 10 minutes. I would challenge everybody that's listening, look at what percentage of the time do you get the first responding unit on scene within 10 minutes? And I'd be willing to bet for a lot of systems, the normality is the normal kind of response, it's less than 50%. So let's say it's 30%. That means 70% of the time we're not even getting there to do these interventions at a time that's supposed to make a difference. And that's where we need to get more bystander CPR, telephone CPR, to kind of coach them to do it before EMS arrives. And I think putting that all together, that's the key, is when you've got these groups and you can get the telecommunicators involved, you can get the field clinicians, EMT's own CPR. They will hip check the ALS provider out of the way, so I got to get back to the chest. And there's some discussions there, but I do think their pride in doing good CPR and ALS learning to work around them. What we say is the EMT owns CPR, and when we get a pulse back, then it's the paramedics' chance to shine, and they do make a difference, and they do get more survivors when we implement a bundle of care by the ALS provider. So I think that all those things are just a little kind of a taste, a little little appetizer, I think, for our training. But I do think that people are going to come in and be amazed, and really, it's a new way to learn this. And I think when it energizes you saving a life and you come back, and hopefully your organization then recognizes everybody involved, here in Maryland, when we do that, that can be 30, 40, 50 people, from the bystanders to the first responders to the, telecommunicator to the first responder, the ambulance crew, including the paramedic, the supervisor, the ED staff, the hospital staff, the people that do rehab, all those things. You're talking, and it took a village to save one life, and I think that it really is very gratifying to be able to save one life and see that impact that you have, basically. So, I mean, I usually, I usually don't talk this much, Mike. So,
No,
why don't I
no,
see
it's
if you have any
totally fine.
questions or?
I'm just, it's always exciting to get to talk with you. This is not our first time meeting, but it's the passion that you bring to this, and everything that you offer is all of what we want to embody at FDIC, and that's getting the latest information, the current best practices
Sure.
in people's hands, and not just in a classroom setting where you're sitting in a seat listening to somebody talk about cardiac resuscitation. This is getting out of that seat and getting your hands on and actually being able to experience this, utilizing some high fidelity simulation. And the other thing that I really like about your course offering is the immediate feedback that you're getting, not only on that resuscitation, but on your improvement holistically as you look at your movement through the course. So I love everything that you're doing, and that's why I'm so excited to have you in Indianapolis. So yeah,
Well,
I don't
thank you.
really
I
have
think
any questions. I mean, I'm a full supporter. I love it because that's what we want to do, is get people able to experience the current best practices in medicine and be able to institute that and take pearls back to their departments, take things back that can change their day-to-day operations. That's what this is all about. It's about getting some of the greatest minds there and just getting that information out there and getting people educated. So we're just so excited to have you there. I know I'm personally very excited. We're going to have some other interviews with some of your other team members coming up. So yeah, I'm pumped. It's
good, good, good.
gonna be a great time.
We
Awesome.
really
Yeah.
we really enjoy the partnership, and we're happy to come out. And I think we had a great time last year. Our instructors were so energized in the pediatric high-performance CPR session to have so many attendees and really to make so much impact with them. And just the look, I think your videographer got a couple shots of our instructors then, because these are Bluetooth mannequins. They ran up to the groups and said, "My baby's not breathing here," just like you do in the police officer does in the field, the way you encounter into the field. And I think that gets your heart racing. That kind of puts you in that moment. It becomes realistic training simulation. It's not just, oh, I can step back and this isn't real. It makes it as real as possible, I think. And I think that makes a difference as well, to immerse you in what your normal experience is doing this. So I think we're all about trying to make the most of this and make it the best offering we can make for anybody that attends. So bring them
Yeah.
on, bring them more. We'd like to be able to fill every seat. So we're here to help
I
and
love
here
it.
to educate.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well,
Get
good.
signed up early, because that's what we're trying to do, is fill every seat. And I got a feeling we're going to do that. So check out the schedule and get signed up now. So thanks again for your time, and looking forward to seeing you in Indy in April.
Okay. Absolutely, Mike. Thanks so much, and have a great day and a great New Year. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks. Same to you.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Have a great day. Bye bye.